the fact that someone can duct tape a banana to a wall and years later some guy that lives in the tiniest town in the middle of nowhere is racking his brain trying to think, was that cool or was that stupid or was that art or wasn't it? I'm like by all means, people need to keep duct taping bananas to walls because that is sick. That is pretty sick. The fact that the kooky guy came and ate it, I feel like kind of ruined the magic for me a little bit. I think the banana thing officially gets the Shaffer stamp of that was epic. Guy who ate banana gets the Shaffer stamp of that was attention seeking and a kook thing to do.
Disturbing the peace with some peace of mind. Sleeping in jeans, I'ma need a night. OD on the cheap advice. OC on the cheapest flight. Lately I've been on the move trying to get to something. But I told her I've been running just to see the sights.
Pre-apologies.
Yeah, I got a pre-apology.
There's some construction going on in the coffee shop above my home. So if you hear construction noises, I don't know what to tell you. Deal with it.
That's okay. We've prepared everyone to expect the lowest bar of quality possible.
And delivered.
Apology,
we deliver on that every week.
My apologies, like, I don't know if it's noticeable or not, but my voice is like screwed up and I don't know why. I'm not sick. I wasn't yelling a bunch yesterday. I wasn't yelling at all yesterday. And my voice is just like 3 octaves deeper.
You sound like a cool radio host. This actually might help us.
I was trying to sing like an old fashions 50 guy this morning while I was getting ready, and it was impressive. I'm not going to recreate it, but it was pretty impressive.
Dang it. I was going to say you can't say that and not have me ask for a demo, but I understand.
Yeah. Some things are sacred, you know? Like
I'm
singing
dreaming. God, that would be sick to hear, but
yeah, maybe in the bonus episode.
Oh yeah, the bonus episode.
Yeah.
Well, hello, Jake.
Hello, Shafe.
To our minions.
Welcome back, everyone. How was your week, man? Did you have anything insanely notable?
Sorry. I'm trying not.
Screw you, man. I'm
Sorry,
doing my
I'm
best.
not. Nothing. Let's see. I climbed up a big mountain and skied down it, snowboarded down it. That was fun. Didn't watch any movies, unfortunately. But that's about all I did since last we recorded, because we recorded late last week. So it's been like
true.
3 days since
Been a couple days.
Yeah. What about you? Anything new in the last 3 days other than getting a new voice?
I got a new voice. Yeah,
cool.
Voice surgery went well.
New voice just dropped.
Yeah. I saw another movie because I'm a movie addict. Whoa. And apparently I'm a season pass addict too, because not only do I own a season pass to the Alamo Drafthouse movie theater, but I'm now a proud season pass owner to Meow Wolf Denver.
Whoa, that's a little bit of a curveball. Are you gonna figure out the whole mystery? Because there's a big thing, right?
Yeah,
like a big
dude.
Actually, you should really quickly summarize it, because to me as a Colorado guy, that makes perfect sense, but to others.
Yeah. And now Meow Wolves are popping up everywhere. But yeah, super brief history if you don't know. It started in Santa Fe. It's just a sick art installation, immersive art installation that you wander around and explore this crazy, beautiful world that a bunch of artists have created together. And the Denver one, like all of them, I think have like a kind of a backstory that you can kind of discover as you wander the place. So I've only been a couple times now, but anytime you go, it's so overwhelming because there's so much going on. There's so many different things you could read or watch. And yeah, apparently there's all of this undercurrent story. You have to scan this little card to capture memories and learn more about it. So surprisingly, that's actually not why I got this season pass originally, but now I'm stoked to like try to figure out the story.
Yeah.
I just got the season pass so that I could randomly go there on a Tuesday and wander around when I need to like brainstorm and think
Dang.
and write. So
That's a cool idea. That's a really cool idea.
yeah, it's a pretty special place to just kind of like wander around and think to yourself, because it's like
It
going
is.
to another world.
It's kind of like going to the zoo, but it's like an art zoo is kind of a way to describe it. And there aren't, animals like suffering in cages there, but there are aliens suffering in cages there. And it's a really good example, I feel, of like, I feel like as we get into a more digital age, the question comes up like, is there a place for art in this, like physical installation art in this age? And Meow Wolf is a really cool example of like a really huge building being able to be like constructed in the name of art, which is cool.
Dude.
It's just a cool thing. So if you don't know what it is, you should look it up, because it's a very special and probably a format that is to be copied at some point somehow.
Totally. I was gonna say, it's such a good like, I don't know, representation, I think, of art not having to have deep meaning.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense what I'm saying, but basically, like, at least in film, I think you get so attached to like needing meaning or needing a story. So for me, at least, it's a good reminder of just other mediums of art that don't necessarily have to have like a specific purpose, but rather just create a feeling, or even just make you like just picture things differently. I don't know. I'm not good at describing it.
It's also kind of a testament to the power of collaboration too, because no one person, when you go in there, you realize like no one person could put this together. Truly.
Seriously.
It is so dependent on collaboration, and it's a cool place. The music room is my favorite. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Which is just this big room where there's all these instruments on the wall that are like playing this. Dude, and it's cool because the songs that play, some of them cycle and some of them are like fresh. And when I was in there, I heard like one of the most beautiful songs, and I waited in there for like forever for it to recycle through, and it never did. It was so cool.
Oh man, dude, I had a similar experience. Like, we walked in and it was just chaos. It's like these robot arms hitting actual physical instruments, which is cool because it's like real analog music. But when I first walked in, it was just like chaos, noise, nonsense, just randomly hit, no rhythm, no melody or something. And then it stopped, and the next thing that followed was, like you said, one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. I like almost teared up. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, that's how I
So
felt when I was
special.
in there too.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
It's crazy.
Sick. Well, I approve of that. I approve of that membership or season, because you also have a ski season pass, I think.
Dude, I do. Man, I'm a big season pass guy this year.
Yeah,
I'm doing it all.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, if anyone didn't know, Jake's a real cool guy.
Yeah, all it took was spending a bunch of money to prove it.
Oh my God, dude. Money and me are not getting along super well right now. I just love buying stuff so much.
Man.
It's so sick.
I mean, December's a good month to spend a bunch of money.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, a lot of it has been Christmas stuff indeed, but you get the little, even when you just buy a Christmas gift, you get that stupid dopamine hit. You're like, I could do this more often.
Yeah. You got any notable purchases you want to share?
Nothing really stand out other than, there is one standout, and that is a great big box of different samplers of non-alcoholic wine.
Sick. Did you sign up for Wino Direct Club, NA Wino Direct or whatever, where they send you like a subscription box?
No. There is that. That is a thing, but I did not.
It also comes with like a crocheted wine glass holder or some goofy like electronic wine aerator in every pack.
Right. Here's the deal though about that. I am like a big fan of those things, like the like subscription thing where you I don't have any current active ones, but I've had them in the past. But it's so fun when you get on one of those, like, I don't know, maybe it's like a wine subscription or a candle subscription or even just a magazine subscription. It is so fun to forget that you have something coming and then go check your mailbox and have like some new fun thing that someone like curated for you. It's so fun.
That does sound really fun.
It kind of simulates
do you-
having thoughtful friends.
Oh man, that's exactly what that is. Aw.
Yeah.
Do you actually keep anything that comes in those? Because that's been my question always with those. Is like, it sounds so fun, and the mystery of unboxing things is so captivating.
Well, the ones I don't even actually I can't even remember which one I had. I had some like, God, I literally can't remember. It was some like probably like fragrance thing or something. But yeah, it wasn't one of those ones where like you keep what you want and send the rest back. It was just like they just send you like a thing each month.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I mean is did you keep them or did you bring them to Goodwill? Because my perception is like there's like, I don't know what the company is, like man crates or something. And they send like
if it's not called man crates, it needs to be called man crates.
They send like knives and flasks
sure.
and shit like that.
And obviously
it's just like, I know I would drop all that off at Goodwill in a month.
It obviously didn't leave a huge impression on me because I don't even remember what it was. And I think I only had it for like 2 months. But yeah, I don't know. They're sick. Like my now girlfriend has a candle one. That's so sick. It's so cool. Like I'm excited to see what candle she gets.
Man, you got her a candle subscription?
No, she just has one.
Oh, cool. See, that's cool because that's consumable and you know you're going to use it always.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I don't know if this is a good time to talk about this or not, and it's not a very good audio thing. Really quickly.
That's fine. Nobody's listening. Tell me.
That's true. Look at my new. You know how we were? Yeah, I mean, last time I said my film camera was my new personality. Then you said your CTCV TV was your new personality.
Yeah.
Check out my new personality, dude.
Oh no.
I've been working on these bad boys.
Whoa, sick. Whoa,
Yeah.
you and I. Oh, for audio people, it's a non-alcoholic wine bottle with a candle coming out of it.
Actually, this was real alcohol. I invited a bunch of friends over for a game night, and they polished this bad boy off so I could use it as a candle. But yeah, we were in
Just talking about these.
Yeah, well, we were in Barcelona, and there was a restaurant that had one of these, but it had burned through probably 200 candles.
Yeah,
it
it covered like a whole corner of the bar.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to turn this into. I got to put it down now.
Sick. And I think I remember us having a conversation at that bar because we were at that bar and we both said, man, that's so sick. It's so cool how much time that takes and it looks so good. And then I think we had a conversation about how do you make that look good in your house? Because it looks good in this like old bar with wooden walls and like kind of has that like low light all the time. So I'll be curious to see how you feel about it in your house.
Yeah, I think it's going to work a little bit better in my house than it would in like I live in a basement, so I kind of have the low light thing going for me already. Like I could see it in your basement where you are currently. Yeah. I think it would look sick in there. But yeah. Well, so the other thing about this is I have a new life's purpose.
Oh, wow.
My new life's purpose.
It's not. Never mind.
Oh no, ask away.
It's not salvation anymore?
Well, there's that's my I don't even know what to call that. My life's destiny, my concluding finale.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Anyway, outside of that's eternity. I'm talking about my current life.
Oh, okay. Your physical life purpose.
My physical incarcerational life's purpose is to be.
No, you're going to prison.
Oh, whatever.
I think you mean incarnation.
Right. Oh yeah. Whoops. Is to be a sober guy that starts a wine bar.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, man drinks one bottle of NA wine.
Well,
and he's ready
pretty
to start
much.
a wine bar. No, that's sick. I love that.
I think my NA wine thing has come as a result. It went the other way. I had the idea of like a wine bar, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should start like. But yeah, like we went. Another place that we saw these candles was at the Brow House, which is this super cool wine bar in Scotland that me and Jake were both at, and the vibe in there was amazing. Like it was like a coffee shop, in that it was a community center. There were a bunch of like regulars and such, but it was better than a coffee shop because coffee is a little bit of a, I don't want to say like a selfish thing, but it's not it doesn't, like wine and alcohol like push you to be social with other people you don't know. Coffee is something you share with someone you kind of already know. So I was like, man, wine bar is cool because it kind of like instigates meeting new people, and it's the same sort of vibe as a coffee shop, but you're like like when we were there, we met like, I don't know, like 15 people over the course of like an hour. It was so cool. And I feel like that's something that the town I live in could totally use, because we currently don't have a bar, like even just a normal bar, but I feel like a chill, relaxing, like elegant, jazzy wine bar would be even cooler. So
yeah, man, dude, and the trope of a sober bar owner or runner is like such a sick trope.
It kind of is. Yeah, it kind of is.
If you ever meet a guy running a bar who's sober, you just know you're going to have some good conversations with that guy.
Well, so that's what I'm always saying. Like, I'm not anti-alcohol, but I don't drink, you know? And it's just like, how can I prove it? How can I posture myself to make people believe me? But yeah, so I think that'd be really sick. And also just like, I always, when I was drinking, I remember how badly I would like, because I love having just like a drink in my hand, you know? I love the idea of being able to go to somewhere that served alcohol and like do homework. Like that's something you can't really do in a bar.
Yeah.
And if you do, you're a weirdo. But that place in Scotland we were at, there were people on their computers, there were people reading books, there were people talking. It was like the best vibe. So my new life's purpose is to emulate that vibe.
Wow. I like it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I like it. And then art's just the hobby on the side.
I feel like it'd be sick if you could make enough from that business to fund some of the creative work you want to do, and then I wouldn't have to sell goddamn Squarespace subscriptions.
Sick. I like it. I like that. Love that for you.
Yeah, thanks. So this is kind of like one of those videos where you're like, I'm starting a thing, and then I never start it.
Nah, I believe.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't really know the first thing about it, but
Hey, I'm into it.
Thanks.
But now that we've properly introed this podcast with season passes, wine bars, subscription boxes, candles, what's next on the agenda?
Well, I'll give you an option. We can either talk about some of the movies you've seen, or we could talk about some drama.
Let's do a literal 5-10 minute review of movies because I just got a few things to say, and if I don't say it now, it'll be pointless and irrelevant in the future. Yeah,
this is true. And we've been sort of trying to talk about movies for 2 episodes now, so I'm down.
Yeah. I also saw Godzilla this week. I can't remember if I told you that or not.
Is there a new one, or is that like
There's a new one.
Wow, I didn't even...
And
that completely skipped my radar.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It skipped my radar as well, but my girlfriend happens to be a big Godzilla fan.
Look at us.
And let me give you super quick context for Godzilla. It's all in Japanese and it's subtitled in English, which is sick.
That's cool.
It's a Japanese movie. So with that said, I just want your quick review and concluding thoughts on Dream Scenario, Saltburn, and Godzilla.
You
Give
want
your,
me to
like,
do it?
Yeah, like, you know, when people review movies and it has stars and then it has like a 1 or 2 line quote from the critic.
Totally. Yeah,
I
exactly.
think I want that from you on each of these.
Okay. Which do you want first?
Whatever your heart's telling you.
Godzilla is freshest in my mind. So, Godzilla is a hypnotic journey into the mind of the world's largest lizard.
How many stars?
5 stars.
Cool.
Wait, out of 10 or out of 5?
Out of 5. Yeah.
Okay. 4 stars.
Nice. Okay.
And then it lost a star because the lizard wasn't big enough.
Okay. Fair.
All right. Dream scenario. Nick Cage delivers on his most dreamy performance in this one-man band act of a lifetime. Look forward to Nick Cage in this movie. And then we got...
How many stars?
Oh my God, 3 stars.
Okay.
And it lost stars because Nick Cage didn't yell enough. Saltburn. Saltburn is a movie that desperately wants to portray an aesthetic and fit the all-time perfect personification of an A24 movie. It is the most A24 movie ever made, and it's not an A24 movie. 1 star.
Nice.
I saw the trailer. All right. I saw the trailer for Saltburn. So
I knew we'd get some reviews out of you. Here we go. Buckle up.
Yeah. And I think on one hand I was super excited to see 1, 4x3. I'm a sucker for 4x3. 2, I do like the color palette of it. My critique of it would be it just felt a little bit over the top dedicated to the aesthetic. I'm sure the story is probably cool and everything, but I definitely got the vibe of like, this is a director that had a very clear idea of what they had in mind for an aesthetic. They knew they wanted it to be like twisted and weird. And I don't know, having not seen the movie, my concern would be that's kind of all it is. Just an aesthetic like showpiece.
Man's insightful, people.
Yeah. So tell me how right am I or how wrong
Saltburn?
am
Man, I loved Saltburn.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure it's a love or hate movie. I loved it. And the qualifiers on that are, I think you're like really spot on with that analysis. Like the reason I loved it was, God, the aesthetic, the compositions, it was just beautiful, perfect, like nonstop whole movie. And dude, the montages, like music montages in it, just like made you want to punch a hole in the wall because they just got you
the
stoked.
trailer song was like sick. I was like, this is super fresh, which is nice.
Yeah. The music was really good. There was just all these sick, powerful montages, which I don't know, for me, like as a YouTube fan, I'm such a sucker for that. Like that kind of drew me into YouTube in the first place, was just the cinematic travel videos that are just nothing but cool montages. So I love that stuff regardless. But that, and like it just was paced really, really well, which I think I've seen a lot of movies lately that are paced very slowly, and you have to kind of work to like stay in it.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
yeah, for sure. And this one was paced so well. There's moments in the movie where I was like, I don't know why I love this. I couldn't say anything about the story right now that I'm super interested in, but I'm so like captivated and interested, even when not much is going on.
Yeah.
That said, like the story was still interesting. I think it was still a good story. I don't think it was anything like groundbreakingly fresh or crazy, but
Yeah.
it was just the way it was packaged was really good. It was cool critique on just like wealth and the human desire, and yeah, I loved it. I'm a big fan.
Cool. I think I'll probably watch that one maybe someday. Like I said, my worry is I would just get kind of bored by the aesthetic after the first 30 minutes, but it sounds like they landed it, which is nice.
Man, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Dream scenario, how did Nick do? Did he yell enough?
Dream scenario was a massive bummer because
the concept was so cool.
Dude, exactly. That's why it's such a bummer is the concept. Like you just hear the concept and you're like, that's going to be a phenomenal movie. It's so good. But the problem was it started really good. And it was like, oh, this is going to be a sick movie. In the first 10 minutes, I was like, this is going to be one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
But then it was like I don't think I'll even spoil it. I don't think I even need to spoil it, but it's like they were painting an analogy or a metaphor in the first half of the movie. And it was like, oh, this is sick. Like I see the metaphor they're painting. I get it. And then by the time you already get the metaphor and understand it, the whole second half of the movie is, this is the metaphor. Hey guys, this is the metaphor we were talking about. Look at this. And it gets so painfully like obvious that it's so
is the metaphor technology?
Pretty much. Yeah. It's like influencer technology. And it's this metaphor of like when people go viral, they make that their personality and they try to capitalize on fame and they think they're really interesting because they went viral. And then they just so painfully like paint that point once you already understood that point. It's so bad.
That's a bummer. Did Nick Cage yell in it?
He did actually.
Okay, well that's good.
He didn't yell enough, but he yelled.
Oh, okay. Dang, that's a bummer. I feel like, gosh, isn't that just the case? It seems like with Nick Cage movies, it's like it should be so sick. Except I will say, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, slam dunk. That movie.
Shoot, I still haven't seen it.
That movie is sick. That's my favorite Nick Cage movie for sure.
Man, I gotta see it. I was stoked.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I was just stoked when I saw the trailer and then I never saw it. But go ahead.
Dude, I'm like my person, and you know, it's all just subjective. But my personal tastes lately have trended more towards stuff that don't take themselves too seriously. I am so burnt on everything taking itself so unbelievably seriously, which I feel like is a little bit of where my my Saltburn opinion. I can't even say opinion yet. First impressions come from.
Yeah.
I felt like that was what made Everything Everywhere All at Once such a refreshing movie. Was like it had something to say. It was done really creatively, and it didn't take itself too seriously. That's like the holy triumvirate for me right now. And as soon as I'm feeling like something is like so unbelievably heavy-handed and being like very, very serious, I just kind of lose interest.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, the whole like Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent was such a fun one for me because it's like Nick Cage at this stage in his career. I feel like he's very much at that point where you're a burnt out actor. You need that one big movie that's like the big comeback, and instead of doing that, he just made this massive 2-hour long satire movie all about himself. It was so nice to see someone not taking. So
Yeah, that's cool. Well,
I don't
that's
know,
the other
just-
weird thing too about seeing Dream Scenario in theaters was there's definitely moments in the movie where it was supposed to be very serious, but because Nick Cage is such a meme and everyone in the audience is aware of the meme, the
Yeah.
people were laughing when there's no way anyone was supposed to be laughing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that was strange.
Interesting.
But
That's interesting.
That's the curse of being Nick Cage, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. You have to be a really talented storyteller and filmmaker, I feel like, to make something that's like lighthearted and still has a message. I feel like that's a really, really hard thing to do, and I admire it so much. It seems easier, and it's, well, not even easier. It seems way more like film student-y to me to make like the world's most serious movie. I'm just burnt out on serious stuff because I'm a silly, goofy cookie, salt, sugar cookie guy.
Yeah, that's fair. Dude, and then Godzilla, good movie. Not my type of movie, but the lizard wasn't big enough.
I bet it was cool just listening to the Japanese language, though. I think that's the coolest language.
Yeah, it was cool. It just felt better to watch a Godzilla movie in Japanese than it feels in English. And I don't know, it's not my type of movie, but it was filmed well. It was cool.
Was it like
fun.
blockbuster style? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, okay.
Well, not in like the terrible plasticky, everything's perfectly lit way.
Yeah.
If that's what you mean. It was just blockbuster in the sense that it was like a spectacle and like
Yeah, sure, yeah.
crazy action.
How cool would it
scenes
be
and
to
stuff.
see like a Godzilla movie in Japanese that used like only practical effects? I would watch that immediately at this point.
I think there's a bunch of them from the year 1970 that you could
Yeah,
watch.
that's true. That's a good point. Fair point.
Yeah. So yeah, that concludes the movie reviews. I'm glad to get those off my chest because
Yeah.
they were burning a hole in my dreams.
Oh man. Well, you're free now.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So now that we got that out of the way, what's your topic?
Well, it depends. I have again two options for you.
Wow. Choose your own adventure day.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about some YouTube drama that I think that could lead to something interesting? And we actually have some personal story that ties to it a little bit. Or do you want to talk about, for some reason, that whole thing that went down with the banana duct tape to the wall like 8 years ago is like cemented on my brain and has been lately, and I don't know why. But I feel like we could also just do a recap of that. And
shoot, I have thoughts on both of those things because the duct tape banana thing also ties to a YouTube thing I had in mind. But
oh snap! Well, maybe we can tie them together.
Yeah, maybe we talk about the drama because I think it's pretty relevant at the moment.
Yes. Okay, let's do that. So, have you seen all of this about this H-bomber guy video on YouTube plagiarism?
I have seen of it. I have skipped around parts of it, but I have not watched it because it is 3 hours and 51 minutes long.
Yes. So here's the hilarious thing is that I will complain about a 3-hour Martin Scorsese movie, and then I'll sit through a 4-hour YouTube breakdown of plagiarism. So I did watch the entire thing. I watched it passively. It was on in the background. But
I am planning to watch it for sure. Like,
yeah, it's pretty insane. So there is a lot to cover in it. Obviously, it's 4 hours worth of content. The guy goes over a lot of different examples of recent bad plagiarism. What's the word? I don't know. Just crimes that have taken place. But the one I wanted to talk about is relevant because I recommended this specific video to you not 2 months ago.
yeah.
So at the time, one of my favorite YouTube videos was this video called Man in Cave by a YouTuber called Internet Historian. I told Jake about it over and over, like, you got to see it. It's so good. It's so good. Turns out the whole thing is plagiarized. The whole script he just read off of just like, a blog, and animated the whole thing, never gave any credit to the writer.
Dude.
And then from there he got a claim on it. The video got taken down. He made some edits, some changes, tried again, got claimed again. Then he like basically scrambled around some of the words in the script, and now it's up again.
Because I remember it coming out and you telling me to watch it, and it was on my list, but then you were like, it got taken down for some reason, and we didn't know why at the time. We're like, that's weird. Why would YouTube take it down? It doesn't seem like there's anything crazy in it other than some like stressful human situations.
For sure. Well,
so we didn't know why, but
the thing that I think is most interesting about it is, under no circumstance do I think that what he did was like right, but I also understand why it happened. I feel like YouTube is still, it was a sign to me that YouTube is still very lawless, in the sense of I don't think I would have this thought, but I could see the thought where it's just like, I'm just going to read this article and react to it. Because how much different is that than like what streamers do, where they watch a whole movies and they like react to it, and they hardly ever give credit or link to it or whatever. And yet the written medium has such a long history of people copying and plagiarizing. And so as soon as it's written, then all of a sudden there's a word for it. It's plagiarism. It's wrong. It's bad.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting thing to have in parallel with streamers, because streamers are almost doing the exact same thing, but there's not a word for it.
Yeah, man, that's so true. Because, I mean, dude, we're taught in elementary school to cite our sources. Cite our sources. And that's like, yeah, it's like, it's so ingrained in our heads. Like, there's formats for it. You know, there's multiple formats on how you're supposed to cite your sources.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've had the same thought on YouTube. It's like you start going, and then you inevitably start pulling from different things. And yeah, that thought hits your head of like, wait, how do I do this? Is it okay to just say where I got this from? Do I need to write where I got this from? What do I do? So it's for sure a question that's got to be hitting everyone's mind.
For sure. And also, like, you and I both, I mean, we've had discussions about this within the last couple of weeks, take a lot of inspiration from very specific people and very specific videos and very specific things that have been made. And a huge part of what we do in our own channels is essentially make collages of things we're inspired by. And I think that's what a lot of creativity is. And it's an interesting thing to just kind of think about, like, where is the line of plagiarism? I think obviously Internet Historian crossed that line. But yeah, it's like with writing, there wasn't this thing where it's like you're doing something visually that is exactly the same as what someone else did. Is that like visual plagiarism? Again, there's like not really words for these things yet. And it's just an interesting sort of thought hole.
Yeah. Because, yeah, I mean, is there anything wrong with copying a visual style? Like, everyone in the world that makes these Wes Anderson remakes, there's the accidentally Wes Anderson book. There's the whole trend of everyone doing like day in my life Wes Anderson style, and all of those say Wes Anderson's name in the thing. So is that enough? Or if you made Day in the Life Wes Anderson style but didn't call it that, you just called it Day in the Life?
Yeah.
Is that plagiarism? Like, I don't think so. You're clearly directly ripping off his visual style, but I don't think it's plagiarism because it's still about your life and what happened that day.
Yeah. Or an even more abstract example is like on one of my videos, the one about fear, I had like a puppet in it, basically, that was like a little bit of a character. And then at the end, the puppet gets burnt. And that idea came from, I'm pretty sure, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared 3. And I even used like similar music and everything to the ending of that video just because I like the vibe of it so much. And if you were to write out what happened in my video and write out what happened in the video I took it from, it would be like the same thing. It would basically be the same thing. So I don't know. It's just kind of an interesting, and I don't know. It is a weird conversation to have in parallel with a very clear, obvious violation of plagiarism.
Exactly.
You know, it's not like what he did was like abstract, like what we're talking about, but it is interesting because this 4-hour video is up to like 12 million views now or something. It was posted last week. And it's like, it's starting massive conversations about what is and isn't plagiarism, and how do you cite sources on YouTube? What should be the standard for, like, if you're going to read an article, like how do you properly, how do you say that you have permission? How do you prove that you have permission to use it? And then it's just kind of an interesting chapter, I feel like, that's beginning, where it's like now YouTube is such a thing that there is a little bit of accountability that has to be had, just like in academia. It's like you can't just say something, you have to cite your sources. And so,
yeah,
I don't know, it's just interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially since for all of the other formats for a long time, like there's always multiple eyes on it. If you're publishing a book, there's at least going to be other eyes on it that can double check you and be like, hey, you might need to cite this or something. But obviously that's completely gone with YouTube. But yeah, I think it's obviously interesting to us because we are so interested in drawing inspiration and using that for creativity. But I don't know. I think we're interested in that. What am I trying to say? Basically, like, I don't think you and I have ever been, we've never even come close to being like, oh man, I'm just taking this content and repurposing it. I think you and I, it's always like, it just sounds uninteresting to me to just directly remake something, like remake an article. It's far more interesting to like take styles and make something new out of it. But yeah, I don't know, the reaction channel thing is interesting too, or the streamer thing is super interesting because that was the pre-meltdown with Sniper Wolf happened before all of this. And
well, it's just like it's like, if there was an uploaded video of whoever it was like reading this article and then you like animated stuff over it, or even if you just reacted to someone reading the article, no one would have said anything about that. Even if you didn't credit the video or the author or whatever. It just is like, I don't know. It makes me hypothesize about all of these different scenarios where I'm like, is that plagiarism? Is that plagiarism?
I know. Is that okay? If you read the article that Man in Cave, if you just read it, said the author, and still made a ton of money on your YouTube channel from it, is that okay? It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't feel okay.
That's the other thing, is like, okay, let's say hypothetically in the video they credited the author, but they didn't get permission. That, it could be the same. It could be the same thing. I don't know. Yeah, it's very, dude. There's a lot that needs to still be sorted out in this world.
I've always wondered too, because I talked last week about that dating show, The Button, that Cody Co reacts to. I have not once watched The Button on the creator's channel. I only watch Cody Co react to it. So I've never contributed views or ad revenue to the creator of this original series.
Yeah.
Which, that sucks for them. Yeah. Like, I know I'm not the only one in that. So that's a bummer.
I know. And then other people like Colin and Samir have said like, oh, there should be a revenue splitting option where if someone reacts to it, then you split the revenue or whatever. But I just feel like that's going to get so messy so fast, and it's going to be people claiming that they own like this, and this, and it's just, it's going to get so messy. But the thing that I think that the overall thesis of this whole thing that I think is interesting is with YouTube, I've always thought so much has been done with YouTube. It's like it's very established, blah, blah, blah. It's not true. It is very much the Wild West now. And the same way there was a bunch of clunkiness and is still clunkiness going from like Dish Network to streaming services, I do feel like YouTube is becoming a full on like people say it's like the future of media or whatever. Like I truly believe that's the case. It is so independent now, and the rules are not written yet. So it's just interesting to see it evolve into like it. Everything always kind of ends up looking like the original version of it. Like streaming is looking more and more and more just like cable TV now at this point. And it's interesting to see, like, I feel like this is a small taste of that happening to YouTube. It's like, okay, you can't just do anything, there are, I don't know. It's just interesting.
Well, and I think you're definitely right too, because it used to always be the case that when you look at your background analytics on YouTube videos, it shows that like 90% of people watch it on their phones, but that has steadily grown towards TV for the last, I don't know, however many years, but every year more and more people are watching YouTube on TV instead of their phone or tablet, which is cool. Like,
yeah. And my thinking as far as making videos has gone from, YouTube wants you to make over 10-minute long videos because that's what gets you like whatever, the most ad revenue or whatever. The thought has always been like, that's what you're supposed to do for like YouTube-y reasons. But now I'm thinking about it as far as like a consumer. It's like, I very rarely am interested on clicking on a 4-minute video. That's not really what I go to YouTube for anymore. It's like, if it's under 10 minutes, I barely ever watch those videos. I will if it's someone I'm like, whatever, like subscribe to and invested in. But man, it's becoming quite the long form centric thing.
It's usually like you're sitting down and you're ready to watch something just like you would on a streaming platform.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, things are changing.
Yeah. I guess that just continues the theme of us talking about things that we have no idea.
Well, true, but no one really does with this. I feel like that's why it's worth talking about, though, is no one has a conclusive thought about, other than plagiarism bad, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's cool because this very obvious sign of someone crossing the line now has opened the door to having the conversation of like, okay, where does that line actually lie? So yeah, you're right. But also I just feel like as YouTube people, it is our duty to discuss things like this.
Yeah, totally. Cause I think you can feel that way and say like, oh, plagiarism, shoot, I don't know anything about that. Hopefully someone else does. But yeah, like you said, no one does because it's this brand new thing. So it's good for like the collective to decide what's right and what's wrong, because that's what humankind has been doing forever. It's just like collectively agreeing on what the best way forward is.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I want to stress that I'm not at all defending any of this. Like, I do think it was a very obviously wrong thing to do. And I don't think you or I would have ever done something like that. And it is a huge bummer because I was a big internet historian fan. And then after the fact, I've sort of learned that he kind of has like an alt-right vibe, which is not my favorite vibe.
No.
I was like, oh, man.
Oh, man.
But that said, assuming it's not plagiarized, his new series about painting and wine is actually really, really good, too. He uploaded a video about wine the same day that the video about him being a plagiarizing piece of crap came out. So
oh, wow.
Kind of an interesting. It's very interesting over there on his channel right now. Yeah, but his videos are so engaging and fun to watch. It's such a bummer about.
Man, that's a bummer. That's just the story of YouTube, man, being disappointed by people.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Everyone inevitably lets you down at some point.
I know, it's so true.
But some bigger than others. This is a big letdown.
It is a big letdown. I know. Anyway, that's my plagiarism spiel.
Should we dive into it's kind of correlated. Should we dive into the duct tape banana thing? Or do you have more than
I don't even
minutes
know
of
why
thoughts.
I feel like talking about it. It's just been like on my brain a lot lately. And I'm curious
Yeah.
about you said you had some sort of connection to it. So I'm curious to
Yeah,
hear.
totally. Well, I think maybe more so earlier on in our podcast than recently, but earlier on, I feel like we talked a lot about like art and what makes something art and kind of had that conversation. And I'm assuming that's what's on your brain about this duct tape banana thing. Do you want to just quickly summarize the duct tape banana?
Basically, some artist, and okay, this is a good example of me not knowing what I'm talking about. I don't know the name of the artist. I don't know where this was. I don't know what the art was valued at, but I do know that some dude duct taped a banana to a wall and it was like considered priceless artwork. And then some other schmuck came along and untaped the banana and ate it and said that was art. And I think the thing that has mostly been sticking on my mind was how, for whatever reason, I cannot get over how much of a kook the guy that ate the banana was. It was just like the way that when they interviewed him afterwards, the way that he phrased his thought process was like the most like cringe, like out of touch. He was like, "Well, I just wanted a tasty snack, and it is art to consume such work or stuff like that." It was just so
Interesting.
mega whack. The whole thing was just
Yeah.
mega whack from start to finish. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Well,
what?
now I'm just wondering how much of this became like urban legend and hearsay, because what I thought about this story was this artist duct taped a banana to a wall. It was considered priceless, and then someone bought it for like $6 million or something like that. And then wherever it went, they had to get the artist's permission to say you can swap out the banana every time it gets rotten and it'll still be like the same piece of art. That's what I heard.
What?
But
That's a complete. Is this a Berenstein Bears thing?
yeah, is this Nelson Mandela effect? I don't know.
I know.
Well,
I know a
I
guy came along and ate the banana. I know this for a fact.
yeah, yeah, and I'm sure both could be true, you know. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that artist was like, "Oh, this banana thing's getting some attention. I'm going to make it again and sell it," you know. Like
Yeah.
I could
Well,
you could see that
I
happening, but
I also remember that when the guy ate the banana, there was this whole thing about like, does the one guy have to like recompensate? Because the guy who ate the banana claimed to be an artist, and so the discussion was, if it's art to eat the banana, does he have to compensate the guy that said it's art to tape up the banana? And it ended up where the original artist who taped the banana to the wall was like, "Oh no, you're right. That is also art. I forgive him. There is no exchange of funds that needs to be made." Blah blah blah. And
yeah.
and the thing that really sucks is the fact that it has stayed on my mind all these years. I think that's what I wanted to talk about more than anything. Is that
Okay.
more than anything I've seen recently, that stupid banana thing made me feel like, okay, there is a definitive line between what is and isn't art, and this falls on the isn't side. And
Yeah.
yet, years later, I cannot stop thinking about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about with this too, cuz sure, like maybe we don't know the exact details of the artist's name and how it ended up, but the whole point, the whole takeaway, I think regardless, is like, what is art, what isn't art, and why do we still think is the fact that we still think about this duct tape banana, does that make it art on its own? Because my personal definition of art would just be like something created with the intention of creating a feeling in someone, or you know, forming an emotion in people, and that's the purpose of it.
Yeah.
So as annoying as it is to duct tape a banana to a wall, if the artist's intention was to piss people off, they did a pretty good job at it.
Exactly. I know. First off, I have to apologize. They're making the worst noise upstairs I have ever heard. So I don't know if that's coming
Oh,
through,
no.
but it's like the squeaky, grindy noise. But anyway, perfect podcast noise.
Yeah.
Well, my retrospective opinion on the whole thing is that as vehemently as I decided it wasn't art the first time I saw that whole shebang go down, I now have decided it is. For me, it kind of is, because it has created a feeling of outrage in me for years. And I think that's exactly what it was supposed to do. And it's stupid, stinking worked.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Well, if you, yeah, because it's almost the silliness of it that makes it frustrating and feel like you should be able to say it's not art, because it's like, that's so, anyone can duct tape a banana to a wall. That's stupid. But
Yeah.
I think a really good parallel that's a little harder to execute, but I also forget the artist's name. You showed me this guy. He took pieces of ice from the Arctic Circle, break off from a glacier, dropped them in a plaza in New York City, and just let them melt. The feeling or the emotion was for people to be able to touch glacial ice, physically see it melting, and make that connection with climate change.
Right.
So that piece has a very elegant purpose, a very like tangible purpose, but it's still just blocks of ice in a plaza, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. Yep.
Obviously it was hard to get it from the Arctic Circle, but hypothetically anyone could drop ice in a plaza.
Right. Right.
But that's so much more elegant than duct taping a banana to a wall in an art museum.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I know. And like, there's a whole nother discussion to be had there, though. And that is that the glacial ice thing was like the purpose and the message was like very obvious. I don't think you had to be any sort of whiz kid to know what that meant.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Does that make it like better or worse or the same as something that maybe does have an intended message, maybe doesn't? Maybe again, the whole purpose of it is just, and man, we can tie this back to the beginning of the podcast and just say, like, if you're going to, and I haven't seen the movie, but if you're going to make a salt burn and the whole purpose of it is to communicate a vibe or a feeling, is that any less valid than something that tells like a very distinct, personal, thought out story? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or can there be both?
And I think it's, to each their own a little bit, but I'm for sure, I don't know, growing to appreciate more just the pieces that communicate a feeling. And I think a lot of that revelation happened with Beau is Afraid, because what a frustrating movie that doesn't seem to have a purpose, but still has stuck with me for so long. I think about it so often on and off. So yeah, I don't know either, but I do have an appreciation for things that just stick with you. But I also think it is all a spectrum, and it's also fine to say, like, yeah, the banana thing's stupid. It's still art, but it's still stupid.
Yeah. I mean, my current feelings toward it are, if the fact that someone can duct tape a banana to a wall and years later some guy that lives in the tiniest town in the middle of nowhere is racking his brain trying to think, was that cool or was that stupid or was that art or wasn't it? I'm like by all means, people need to keep duct taping bananas to walls, because that is sick. That is pretty sick. The fact that the kooky guy came and ate it, I feel like kind of ruined the magic for me a little bit. I think the banana thing officially gets the Shaffer stamp of that was epic. Guy who ate banana gets the Shaffer stamp of that was attention seeking and a kook thing to do.
Yeah, totally. The banana eater just feels more like a prankster YouTuber trying to get attention.
Yeah, it does. It literally looks like, oh, here's a very easy way to get attention. I'm gonna go
basically capitalize on someone else's hard work. Because say what you will about the banana thing, the artist clearly put in the work before that to even get to the point where he could do that and have anyone pay attention.
Well, so that's the other thing, is just like, I sure do love the idea of me being able to live out a life where down the road I'm like, I can just do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
And I'm always thinking, like, it's like, okay, well, what kind of trajectory do you have to be the kind of guy that can duct tape a banana to a wall and have it be worth $150,000 or whatever it was worth? It's like,
Yeah.
I feel like it can be anyone, and so it inspires me too. In a way, it's also just like, you can value your work and what you have to say so much that you can do something as weird as that and have it, like, subjectively to some people be literally worth that much money or attention or whatever. It's,
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. There's whatever that, I don't even know if it's a quote or an ideal or what, but just like the thing about abstract painters, like, they can paint something really realistic, but they choose not to. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. Yeah,
It's that thing, you know?
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. My tie-in, I don't know how much I even want to dive into it, because to me it just feels a bit boring, but I'll say it briefly anyway. There's a YouTuber that made a video titled "Filmmakers Are Not Artists."
Mm-hmm. ...
At least I'm not. And it was a frustrating watch for me personally, because I couldn't think of a more obvious art form than filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
But the point of the video, I think, was basically, man, this kind of circles all the way back into plagiarism, honestly, because the point of the video was, filmmakers aren't artists. They're simply solving a problem and piecing a puzzle together, and they're taking all of these tools and things that they've learned and just piecing them together, which to me, like, that's art, baby. Like, that's that's all art. You're taking
That's taking a
tools.
strip of duct tape and a banana and making some magic.
Yeah, totally. Like, so that's why I say it's kind of boring, because to me the answer's so obvious. Like, you just, that is art. You know, that's the definition of art, is pulling all of these life experiences, tools, resources, things, and just making something with all of those puzzle pieces.
Yeah. Or we talked earlier this month about creativity just being the joining of things that don't belong into something that's either is or isn't, like a cohesive thought. And I don't know, like, maybe art is that. What is art?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know. And that's why it's like, you know, kind of a pointless conversation. Because again, in all of this, I understood the YouTuber's perspective, because their perspective was like, I don't feel like an artist and I'm not really interested in art. I'm more interested in, like, the craft of just, like, more so the camera side than the actual, like, storytelling abstract art side of it. So I understand their perspective, and it's just it's a conversation with no end or no
this is true,
easy conclusion. But
this is true. I do tend to find I am more likely to categorize something as art is if it feels like the person creating it had something to say, and if the purpose was to say nothing or to say something abstract, that's still, to me, you still have a purpose there. You still have thought behind it, which is like, I'm going to do something to evoke this. That stands out a lot more to me than just, like, I feel like that is continually my biggest critique with YouTube, is I just think there's hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of people putting their heart and soul into saying absolutely nothing.
Yeah. That's fair.
Other than look at how sick I am.
Yeah, fair.
So I don't know.
So I think we still are in need of some more star reviews in order for our
right.
hacker to drop our best work yet.
Right.
Yeah, Braxton stole our best episode that we've ever created, and we don't have access to it. So he said he's going to drop it if we reach 75 star reviews on Spotify.
Right, 75. That's right.
And if we get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, Shaffer has to watch Avatar. So
exactly.
if you want to see our best episode ever and you want to see Shaffer watch Avatar, subscribe and
we're at
review.
54 5-star reviews right now. We're gonna need to hit that 75 by Christmas.
We're gonna need to hit 75 by Christmas. Damn you, Braxton.
Damn you, Braxton. A couple other things. You should leave a comment. We only got one comment on the last episode, and that was ridiculous.
Are we going to respond to them? No. But
no,
do we like
God,
seeing
no.
them?
Yes. Yeah. What am I going to do without my dopamine? So leave a comment for sure. Hey, you know what would be cool is if maybe you said something about plagiarism that we could read and not respond to.
Yeah. And then everyone else should just copy that comment. We'll see how many plagiarized comments we can get.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Someone leave one comment. Everyone else just plagiarize that comment.
Yeah. Or just leave your favorite comment from a different YouTube video on this one.
That's a good idea. Or just post the script to something in the comments and say it's your own creative work.
That's a great idea.
And then other than that, on the day that this goes up, I will have uploaded a video I've been working on for months. So
oh, sweet.
You should watch it. And you should watch it all the way through. Don't just watch the first 10 seconds, please.
Sick. Yeah. What do we get a sneak preview of what it's about?
Yeah, it's called the title is Adrenaline is Just a Luxury Good Now.
Ooh. Cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it.
I'm stoked.
It took me a while.
Dang.
So, yeah.
Wow. I'm real stoked. Sick. Well, yeah. Check that out, people. And I think that's all I've got. You got anything else?
I don't think so. I don't know if I have any apologies this week or not. Not apologizing to the guy that ate the banana because I hate him.
Yeah.
Sorry to Saltburn for not giving it a proper... I think it's going to be really good. I like to think I'm going to dislike it more than I like to think I'm going to like it.
Hey, I think that was a very sensible review you gave. I don't think you have any apologies to make.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't think I have apologies either. I think we just did the least apology-inducing episode ever. Oh, yeah. I am sorry to Man Crates. I'm sure it's a great business.
Now we're never going to get sponsored by Man Crates.
Oh, man.
Rats. Well. All right.
Well, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Hug your mom. Call your dad.
Yeah.
See you later.
See you later. Amen.
Amen.
I say if you don't like this music, you don't be listening to it, you know I'm just a dude that you know, or something similar. If you don't keep it real, then you go somewhere but here, cause you know we're only losing control just for a minute. Oh,